Hey, my name is Keithan. I'm the host for the podcast Selling Around the Globe, powered by Cedcommerce, making e-commerce accessible to everyone. This is my weekly solo podcast where I talk about all the tricks and tips, paving a roadmap for you to start selling on prominent marketplaces and make money online. In this episode, you'll learn about all the top selling products over Etsy that can help you fill up your inventory with stuff that sells. Well, listeners, welcome back to the episode 3 of Selling Around the Globe. In this previous episode, we have already talked about things that you need to keep in mind before creating an Etsy shop and a step-by-step process to set up your Etsy shop. Today, in this episode, we'll take a look at the top selling products over Etsy Marketplace that will surely help you fill up your inventory with the right products that sell the most over Etsy Marketplace. However, we have talked about the things you need to take care while selecting a product to sell. But knowing these top selling products will help you save time and jump directly to the products that will surely sell. So in a way, these are all the trends based out of bulk research and collected statistics. To be honest, I have done a huge research for this for you people. Well, let's not do any late and dive straight into the top 10 selling products and categories that sell the most over Etsy Marketplace. For this, listeners, we have tracked down the top Etsy sellers and have analyzed the products they sold the most during a set period of time. This top list of sellers was taken out with the help of eRank, a leading SEO website wholly dedicated to the Etsy sellers. According to this, the top 3 Etsy sellers came out to be Planner Kate 1, Yakutam, and Nicole De Bruin, and their sales record was of plus 876,000, 590,000, and 578,000 respectively. So that's a huge amount of sale if you see. So as you all know, amid coronavirus alarm worldwide, the sales of face masks, sanitizer, gloves have soared really high. The demand for these protective products have skyrocketed to the tune of over 500%. Masks were proved to be the most sold items over Etsy over this period. Etsy sellers even are showing outstanding communal support by making handmade items like face covers, masks, and shields, including those based on requests maybe from the hospitals and responders with current needs. So this remained the very first category on the Etsy Marketplace during this corona outbreak, and this was really sure because wherever you see, there is a huge demand for these PPE equipments. So on the Etsy Marketplace, which is highly based for the sellers which are into handmade crafts and business. So here people are converging their businesses. They are trying to make and help the community by making up the mask and other protective items. So this was the very first category. So the next category is craft and supplies. Under this category, the most sold products were the stickers, antique charms and hooks, claws and beads. Well, it's understood that Etsy being a marketplace dedicated to the handmade products, these products and tools stood the best sellers as the buyers might have needed these things to manufacture their own products, or maybe they'll be into knitting and sewing businesses. Well, who knows? The next one in the list is handmade items. Well, this may sound a bit vague because Etsy is hugely consisting handmade items only, but worry not, I have converged the top 3 items that sold the most over Etsy, and they were the handmade stickers, metal jewelries and pendants, and paper designs. So if you're thinking of selling a product over Etsy which is handmade, and if you're thinking of selling a handmade product like if you're manufacturing it on your own, so the chances of your product being liked by the buyers are more likely to be very high. Fourth category in the row remains jewelry. Who doesn't like little bling bling, you see? With the fashion trends changing at a very fast pace, the minimalistic designs of jewelry are being liked more over Etsy. Apart from that, people frequently brought jewelry making kits and tools over Etsy Marketplace. These things like jewelries, handmaids, and all this stuff, this sells like lemonade on a hot summer noon. Wedding items made their space on the 5th space among the top selling product list. Well, in the US, wedding preparations do not get complete without going over Etsy Marketplace, and this is to be honest. Let it be wedding invitations, dresses, necklaces, bridesmaid gown, bachelorette dresses, and just about any decor that can be used in a wedding function. This all sells at the speed of flash over Etsy Marketplace. Well, yes, maybe due to the corona outbreak, the trends are changing, consumer behaviors are changing, the way of living is changing, people are more into social distancing, less gathering. So maybe there can be a slight decrease in this product category being sold. But yes, because wedding is something everyone wants to make it memorable. So I'm sure that the decrease is not gonna get huge, and this wedding and decor item is gonna sell like flash, like forever. And no doubt, coming to the next category, no doubt the next trending category over Etsy marketplace is the accessories. Well, sellers, mark my words when I say that being on Etsy and selling accessories like plaid scarves, trendy caps, hats, bands, pins, crowns, these all can make you go really high. Because when it comes to selling volumes over Etsy marketplace, Etsy is like solely dedicated to handmade products. Etsy is solely dedicated to the artsy items. So these all sell in huge volumes, I'll say. In the queue of top selling products, the other categories that get sold the most remain the paper and party supplies, clothing, then the vintage items, followed by home and living and art decor. And last but not the least is the searches on Etsy for the items like baked goods and brownies, which have roughly doubled in the past 2 months. So I guess it's the perfect time to take the plunge into this delicious business adventure, listeners. Well, now with this list of top selling products over Etsy marketplace, now you're all set to increase your pace towards selling more and more over Etsy marketplace. And listeners, we are not over here yet. I've been researching a lot about the top Etsy sellers and the trends they have been following to stay in the lane. And I came out with a few tactics with which their sales are outnumbering the other sellers over Etsy marketplace. So let's have a quick look at what they are. So the first one I found was the using of a perfect combination of products. By this, I don't mean to intend towards cross-selling or the upselling over your Etsy shop, but let's say for an example, you're looking to buy a hat, and if it was me, let's say I was looking for a cowboy hat. However, it doesn't suit me, and over my shopping I browsed through a number of pages, so I'll go back and press Ctrl+H and have a look at the ideas of the intent of what intent is really going on in my head. And this Ctrl+H is the history button, the shortcut for the history button. So I'll check back my history pages to see that what I was looking for. And we'll have a look at the pages I clicked and reached. I might get an idea of what intent is really going on in my head. And while I'm making purchasing decisions. So let's say I was looking for a cowboy hat, but in my way of browsing, cowboy hats with custom printings attracted me more. So what will happen next? I'll end up buying a hat from a supplier or a seller who offers custom printing too. So in the very same way, we have to be a bit clever in identifying our buyers' nature and their needs. If we do that, like it's sure that we'll be putting a perfect combination of products that will ultimately attract more buyers. And secondly, not to my surprise, the top sellers were giving in time towards the SEO strategy. Well, why not? It helps their product to rank in the top search. So based upon the Etsy search algorithm and also the niche of your product, you need to be quirky while choosing your keywords. And once done, you need to place them precisely over your product title, description, and it should be like that Etsy SEOs is gonna love it. So also having a consistent pricing strategy is one more necessary thing that I have been seeing in the trends of all the top Etsy sellers. So here I'll ask you to do a self-analysis. How? Let me tell you. It might have happened to you while you were shopping. There was one product which definitely grasped your attention and you were like, oh my god, I have to have this. So look for one such product. Now come down and have a look at all the key points that made your attention attract towards it. Maybe it had many variants. Maybe it had good customer reviews, elegant look, and now this is a time when you'll be looking up to the price, and this will be the decision time. Now you have to decide it for yourself. Are you going to pay for that? If yes, the product was really nicely bundled and it was nicely presented to you at an affordable price and also a value for price. So you also need to be consistent with your pricing strategy and you have to keep your prices competitive with the actual market prices. And lastly, actually I have 2 points here, but let's merge them up and let's see how it goes. So firstly, you must be knowing that what looks good sells better, but what looks more at more places sells even better. So now The successful sellers over the Etsy marketplace are not just confined to Etsy. They are looking out for multi-channel selling where they can take their products along with Etsy. They are looking for Etsy lookups for the relevant marketplaces where they can take their products and then they can sell on multiple platforms. This is giving them more reach, more potential customers, and eventually more sales. Now, including my second point here, social selling is on hype these days. Whether it be Facebook Marketplace or Instagram checkout, sellers are looking for such places to sell where their buyers spend most of the time. So what's good is that over social media, you can play around with your marketing strategy a bit once you have the presence there. You can engage with your customers so that they say delighted and they remember your brand. Remember that flywheel from HubSpot I talked about? So that's what we are talking about here. So these were some quick few tips in the initial days and even in the longer run to prove really beneficial for the sellers who are willing to expand their businesses reach over Etsy marketplace and all over the internet. So listeners, with this we have come to the end of the episode 3 Selling Around the Globe, where we discussed all about the top selling products and categories and the top tips to adapt as a beginner seller over Etsy marketplace. I'll soon be coming back with another episode of Sell Around the Globe podcast where we'll talk about Etsy marketplace and the tactics with which you can reach more and more customers and can enhance your selling business over Etsy. For this episode, listeners, that's a wrap from my side. Make sure to subscribe the podcast where you are listening to it right now. We are available over all the major podcasting platforms, including iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, you name it. So people, that's the right time to hit that subscribe, the follow button, and see you next week.